Amazingly, you have access to all the information that has ever been created in the entire universe that you can use to gain knowledge on how you are going to manifest whatever it is you want into your life. Which sounds like a huge claim, but you might remember from your science classes at school, and I must admit I probably should have paid more attention than I did, but you might remember that energy, I think it was Newton that said this, cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed into another form of energy. So for example, if you rubbed your hand on a table, movement is kinetic energy, and that will then be transferred and turn into heat energy. So we know for sure, we can prove now by putting probes on people's heads and things, that when you're generating thoughts, that is actually putting out a signal, okay, an electrical current. That's from your brain. Of course, and I've mentioned this before, that your heart, and this is why you need to create feeling when you're creating thoughts as well. Your heart generates, I think it's 300 times the amount of current that your brain does. But all of this information, all of these thoughts from yourself and from everybody in the world right now and who has ever lived, is being placed, it's like it's being placed into the universe, into the sky, into space, however you want to think of it. Very much like information on a hard drive. Now, information on a hard drive, when you delete something from a computer, actually you're not really deleting it. All you're doing is deleting the location. It's sort of losing where that is stored, but it is still magnetically stored on the hard drive, and you can still access that. That's why if you wipe a hard drive, somebody with the right piece of software can recover that information, and it will be all in a completely random, scattered place, but you can still get that information back. So much in the same way, there is this library, if you like. People think of it as a library. It's a way of kind of visualizing it. You might have heard of the term Akashic Records. Now, I've talked before about how the simulated universe is explained in different ways according to the time period, or maybe, you know, the religion, if you like. You know, people talk about reality just being a reflection. Maybe that's, you know, thousands of years ago they would look into a pond and they would see a reflection of themselves. Maybe they didn't understand that was actually themselves, but civilizations for years and years, thousands of years, have believed that this is not true base reality. This is actually a mere reflection of the real thing that is going on. We are a projection. You've heard the term holographic universe, maybe. Again, we are just a hologram, a representation of the real thing that's happening outside of us, outside of this universe, which, again, you know, we could be in a computer simulation. But with the Akashic Records, the way I see it, that I think was an Indian term, they were explaining effectively a database, a computer database in the universe that you can access with your brain. And I see lots of information on the internet about this, but it's always very sketchy as to how you access that information, that database, to get that vital data. And some will just say, well, you just need to meditate. Okay. But first of all, this is why you have to have intention. You have to be clear on what it is that you want to manifest, what it is you want in your life, because that is what's creating the signal. That's what's going to tune in. It's like on a computer. You need to access the right folder to find the right file that has that data, that has that key to what it is that you want. And then your heart, your feeling, is what boosts that signal, like a Wi-Fi booster, if you like. But the bit that they normally miss out is, again, how do you actually receive that information? But here's the good news. All you have to do is put out the intention of what it is that you want, a clear plan. Again, if you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, There are so many clues in that. I mean, that's like getting on for like nearly 100 years old now, that book. But actually everything is in there. A lot of books that you see now about personal development, about manifestation and all that, it's actually all in there. It's all in The Secret. I'm rereading it now, and I'll probably just keep rereading it over and over again. But the key thing is, once you've put out that intention, then you just you leave it to the universe to sort it out, to rearrange things, to give you clues. There's a great term I heard called daymare. It's like a nightmare in daytime. As you go around, you need to look out for clues. Things are going to give you an indication as to what the plan is. And I've talked about this before in manifestation. Sometimes it could be, if you want better health, maybe suddenly you're looking through the paper or online and you see somebody advertising a health group or a running group or a new gym that's open in your area. Maybe a friend at work says that they're going to take up jogging or swimming or something. That is your clue, your indication, your plan. So it's insights. You need to look for insights. If you're trying to make money online, there could be something that you read, and try not to dispel everything. Don't think everything's a scam. There are millions of people making money from side hustles online, manifesting money. And I say manifesting, again, I'm not talking about just journaling and drinking green tea and lighting a few joss sticks and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about having a plan that is going to clearly take you in the right direction. But how do you get the plan? Again, you can access the database in the sky, the Akashic Records. And you do that with intention, with persistence. You have to be a bit patient sometimes, because depending on the size of your want, of your desire, more things may have to be rearranged first of all. So maybe, you're fed up of working, you don't get to choose your own hours, you want to set your own time, you want your own business that you could do maybe from anywhere in the world. That's quite a big ask. So, it could be something that initially seems bad, like being made redundant or something like that. But sometimes as humans, we do need to be pushed. I am one of those people for sure that I get excuse me, I get comfortable really easily in a job, especially if it's a nice job. And unless somebody physically boots me out of the door, I can end up there for years. When I look at my career, most places I've been there, the shortest was 5 years, and the longest was 10 years until I got made redundant at that place. And then where I am now, I've been there, it will be 10 years in January. So put out your attention and then look out for clues. That is the key. Please hit like if you enjoyed this video, if you got anything from it, and take care of yourselves. I'll speak to you soon.